candidates and political parties in the Anambra governorship race committing to a peaceful conduct ahead of Saturday's election. And tonight we engage some of the candidates in a final day pitch on their manifestos and answers to the questions the people of Anambra are asking. Hello everyone, welcome to Politics Today, special edition of the program. We're live for you in Awka, the Anambra State capital, where we're monitoring the Anambra governorship election 2001 for you. Welcome everyone. I'm Shunwaki Malay. Tonight, answers the questions, the issues about Anambra governorship election we're bringing to the fore. And tonight, through these 1 hour or so, we shall be engaging on those issues that are paramount on the minds of the people of Anambra State. First and foremost, let's tell you about what happened today. And so the National Peace Committee, chaired by former head of state, General Abdul Salami Abubakar, were in town and they conducted what it was tagged a peace accord signing ceremony, where the candidates and political parties committed themselves to a peaceful conduct of the governorship election. Well, it might not be a surprise for these events happening because of the history of violent incidents that we have seen in the state in the past few weeks. And so today, the candidates affirmed their commitment to a peaceful conduct in the governorship election, which will hold on 6th of November 2021, that is this Saturday.
We, the members of the National Peace Committee, have come to Anambra State to support a peaceful electoral process. We cherish Anambra State, and we cherish the peace and unity of Nigeria. Most importantly, we want to contribute our own quota to see that the governorship election in Anambra State is divorced of violence. Therefore, the signing of the peace accord today is not a mere exercise. It is indeed a clarion call for all the candidates and the political parties and all Anambrians to commit themselves to a peaceful process. We call on all the candidates, their parties and supporters to accept the outcome of the vote as long as it is adjudged to be free, fair, and credible. And I have been assured by the chairman of INEC that all efforts, everything is put on deck to ensure a free and fair election.
For the first time, the National Peace Committee organized the signing of the Peace Accord in Edo on 15th September 2020 and in Ondo on 6 October 2020. Despite the palpable tension that characterized the two elections, Edo and Ondo passed off peacefully, and the elections were adjudged by all to be free and fair and credible. Faced with the current situation in Anambra State, the Commission once again appealed to the Peace Committee to bring parties and candidates to commit to peace before, during, and after the elections. We believe that Anambra cannot be different from Edo and Ondo. For this reason, we are also confident that just like Edo and Ondo, the election on Saturday will be peaceful and the outcome will reflect the will of the Anambra voters.
All right, So from there, the Inspector General of Police has been talking about the security of the election, and there is an order restriction of vehicular movement, which will begin at about midnight of Friday. The IGP Usman Alkali Baba has ordered the restriction of vehicular movement in and out of Anambra State from 11:59 p.m. on Friday, the 5th of November 2021 to 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, the 6th of November 2021. The IGP says that the restriction order has become necessary following pointers from the Election Security Threat Assessment conducted by the force, which indicate a high likelihood of infiltration by criminally minded individuals to Anambra State before, during, and after the polls. The statement was released earlier today by the Force Police Public Relations Officer, Commissioner of Police Frank Kamba. Let's get to it. Tonight, our attention is focused on the candidates. Don't forget, by midnight of today, they cannot campaign, they cannot talk. By today, they would have done all that is necessary in telling the people what they want to do, how they want to do it. Anyone who has not done his homework, today is the final day. Examination is on Saturday, and you cannot be allowed to go to classroom again to read if they were students writing exams, that is. But in this case, the law says that you cannot campaign 24 hours before the election, and the 24 hours begin by midnight of today. So tonight, we're taking the last opportunity for the candidate, for them to be able to sell themselves to the people of Anambra State one last time. And that's why we call it the candidate's final pitch. Tonight, I have a few of them on the program tonight. I have the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Valentine Ozigbo. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And the candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Mr. Obina Uzo. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you, sir.
I understand that Mr. Ifeanyi Uba will be joining us virtually at some point. He's the candidate of the YPP. So it's an opportunity for us to talk about what you've been talking about for the last few weeks to the people of Anambra State, and what they hope to see from you should they elect you as governor. So we'll begin by getting this opening by asking you, this is a final opportunity for you to let them know what exactly you're up to. Let me begin with you, Mr. Ozigbo. What are you up to? Should the people of Anambra vote for you? What is at the core of your manifesto?
The core, thanks, Cheryl, is basically shifting away from a dysfunctional past, challenging the status quo, letting a number of people understand that indeed there's nothing we have achieved we can improve upon. And there's nothing that is rotten now we can repair. And with that mindset, the key thing for me is the quality of my candidacy. Who is Valentine? Is he the type of person that will make a promise and keep a promise? Because it's so easy to be on television, on rally ground, and make commitments. I want them to see me as being authentic, not a regular type of politician, but somebody who is here to make a difference, touch lives positively, be there to listen, and be there for the common man. Understand that every part of Anambra will be touched positively. Whether you're poor, whether you're jobless, whether you are a passerby. Because when we do the number of things we intend to do, you will see Anambra change for good. And that's why we call in our manifesto Anambra Chawapo. And it transcends across all sectors.
That's in Igbo.
Igbo.
What does
Let
that mean?
Anambra blossom. Let Anambra blossom. We are the light of the nation. But we see that light dim now. So it's time for it to shine again. That's the meaning. It is time for Anambra to Chawapo. I'd like you to repeat that word after me.
Unfortunately, my tongue is too stiff that what I now know in my adult life to speak is English language.
It's the most used word in Anambra today. And I'm so glad that buying into the project and buying into the movement. So anyway, so the idea here is freshness of idea, making a difference. Somebody asked me, what will you do differently? I don't answer that question. The question should be, is there anything I will keep? Because I'll do everything differently. I will approach things differently, from a different mindset. I want to do big things in simple manner, and small things in extraordinary way. And what that means in terms of what is going to translate to the common man, let's keep our roads functional. Let's have decent roads. Let's consider that a key priority. Let's keep Anambra people safe and sound. Let people be able to come and transact and move freely. Let us be able to attract tourists and foreign and local investors into Anambra State. And they feel comfortable. And they move on to infrastructure, to making Anambra competitive. How is it that you can come here and run a business and you make more money than making elsewhere? Such that when people are here, that testimonies alone will attract more people. So that we do go about it from the push and pull factor. As a business developer, as a marketer that I am, I will be the chief marketing officer for Anambra State. But I also want them to come and not say I'm marketing hoax. It's something that is real, that's tangible, and they can feel it. And this is how we've coined our manifesto across 3 approaches. I've spoken to you about it, a cluster approach. We're focusing on core areas. Onitsha's commercial hub, Nnewi's industrial hub, Anambra's processing hub for agriculture. Oka, where we are, which you can see is a glorified village, can actually now be a true state capital. And Oda-Gota Union can be a true technology hub. And we have defined the things we're going to do in each of these areas, what it means to our GDP, what it means to our job, what it means to common people. And we will time this, we'll phase this, what we're going to do in the first 100 days, 6 months, and 1 year, and medium long term. And keep the governance framework strong. Because unless you have a strong process, people, structure, you can't build them. And these are the things we have in mind in our Anambra.
I'll allow the SDP candidates, Mr. Obina Uzo, to give us exactly the same question. What are you up to? And what is at the core of your manifesto?
Thank you, Shehu. Obina Uzo is a testimony. And I want to bring that testimony to bear on my people in Anambra State. I finished secondary school in Anambra State and went to teach at Girls Secondary School Okija. From there, I started business, I went to University of Lagos, studied law, went to Nigerian Law School, and got called to bar. And then I went for I did Masters in Business Administration and several other programs. And we've made progress. So I'm a lawyer, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a farmer, I'm a businessman, I'm a politician, I'm a philanthropist. All my life has been life of philanthropy, assisting the less privileged, the downtrodden. I've done a lot of things, built roads, electrified communities, giving scholarships, built churches, assisted a lot of people to start small-scale enterprises, start on their own. Many of them are millionaires today. So I've done a lot for humanity. And there are several awards, several honors, but particularly the Pope gave me the highest award, Knight of St. Gregory the Great. Is the highest honor that can be given to a Catholic anywhere in the world. And it speaks a lot for my character, my competence, my capacity, my capability in everything I want to do, I get involved in doing. My first sojourn into politics, 2003, I ran for governor of Anambra State. And Since then, we've been involved in politics, trying to bring in people who are good guys to get involved into politics so that we can develop our state. For me, we have a lot of things. Everybody talks about same things. Security is vital. We'll secure the state. We'll provide infrastructures, roads, housing, transportation. We'll do a lot of things, but the particular thing that is different from mine and all the other candidates is the Onitsha deep sea port. The Osakwa deep sea port. Osakwa deep sea port is in Ihiala local government area. That deep sea port is over 20 meters deep and about 18 nautical miles to the Atlantic Ocean. And it will be my privilege to unlock that deep sea port.
All right.
And that deep sea port, when unlocked, will provide over 2 million jobs to Nigerians.
Okay. Just let's, because we need to also move rapidly. There are a lot of grounds to touch. Let me go back to Mr. Ozigbo. The question is, there are 18 people that will be on the ballot on Saturday. Why should the people, the voters, choose you?
4 major reasons. One, I believe Anambra people will be focusing on enforcing me to find the best. Number two, I'm also going to be focusing on the party that you present. It's a party that can take us away from where we are, that can help us unify our people, where everybody will have a voice. And ultimately, as we clamor for Igbo presidency, there's only one party they can trust. And if you put this in your television, ask any Igbo man, which party do they think can possibly give an Igbo presidency? There's only one, and it's PDP. And that's another reason. So what they're going to be looking for, the best person in the right party. And not only that, they're also going to be looking for who emerged through the right process. How did I emerge? Through a free, fair, transparent process covered by your television. How did others emerge? In the other party, APC, for instance, there was no primary. It's known to everybody. And in ABGA, they had to disqualify people who we all know are qualified. And so it became an imposition of the state, an imposition of the center. In the case of PDP, for instance, it's a free and fair process. This is why they say there is hand of God in my emergence. Because nobody
your own matter was taken to court too.
I know, but
it was taken to the Supreme Court.
Guess what? You know what the Supreme Court said? I wish you could repeat yourself. I hope the Supreme Court, the justice said what they did by the other people, simply a naming ceremony. We always have distractions, especially a big family like PDP. It's understandable. But at the end of the day, it's been sealed. Supreme Court has affirmed. So it's no longer a adjudicatable issue. And the final part is, what are we coming to do? Genuineness of the commitment. How does it touch the lives? And the practicality of it. It's not just to make promises. How? You ask that question, how? The deliverable. And when you tie all this together, you then ask, who is Valentine? And when you hear my story, understanding I'm a child of grace, that everything I've ever done, I excel. Primary school, secondary school, university, in the banking industry, within the first got to branch manager in 5 years, regional manager 7 years, general manager, and I became a superstar in banking. I became a teacher in banking. I taught over 1,500 banks before moving to Transcorp Hotels. And look at what happened there. You're usually my guest. You know how it used to look like and what it's like now. And moved up to become the president of Transcorp. And not only those, look at other things I did personally. I took a project called Freestyle Football, which nobody used to understand what it's about. I became the biggest promoter in Africa, on the continent. I hold competition, 30 countries will get represented. And last visit of Infantino, I was there, on courtesy of what I've done in the sporting world. In the entertainment world, I'm a big promoter of it. You know a movie called Merry Men. And why do I focus on sports entertainment? Because it touches the youths, it touches the women. These are my key areas of focus. So the point here is there is clearly no other option. It's not a case of which is a better option. In all this, right man in the right party with the right process and right competency and commitment.
All right.
That's how.
Why should they choose you, Mr. Ozo?
Yeah, thank you, Shehu. My brother is talking about party. My party, Social Democratic Party, a party with a white horse, is a party his elder brother and uncle, Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezife, used to become governor of Anambra State in 1992. In 1992.
So they can do it again.
And that's why Ezife now is supporting Valentine, by the way.
So we are going to do it again. And let me tell my brother, he's a liar. I cannot get involved in something that is sub judice. One of the cases is reserved for judgment is and I think January 20.
That's not correct.
Another of his cases is at the High Court. So I don't want to get involved in
question one day.
No,
really,
I don't want
it's actually not subject. No, don't say things
I don't
like
want to get involved in PDP something. Like you said, it's a
well, he knows better.
I was there before him. I know PDP more than he does, but it's okay. I'm talking about Social Democratic Party. He was in Anambra 1992. Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezife was a governor.
Well, I'd like us to clarify one thing, because it's very important. I'll come to you.
Yes.
Is there any of your case in court at the moment?
There were 2 cases that got to Supreme Court in Nigeria. Somebody went to court because they saw Ozigbo Valentine C. And they wanted to know what does C represent. It's Chineto. You could have just asked me. You don't need to go to court to get the answer. 2 cases were in court. And they were dealt with. They were both dealt with the same day. He's not aware. Go read the brief properly. My dear brother, when people talk about I know more than I know, it takes me back to what I'm trying to change. Status quo. Past. You know, I like people who open their mind, not to say they know everything. I don't know everything. What I don't know, I acknowledge I don't know. The only way we can evolve as a people, when we imbibe the culture of continuous improvement. Do you know what that means? That even a younger man can have better ideas. Not about how old you are. As a matter of fact, it's how we've been, the elders have spoken. That's why Nigeria cannot move forward. It is time for us to challenge every status quo. We have to shatter status quo. My brother, if you guys haven't been able to repair Nigeria since before now, leave this matter. You've been running for governor since 2003. Leave the matter. Allow the younger ones to do this thing, and let's change this country for good. That's why we're here.
I wanted you to just clarify the court case, because you may not be able to do it after today.
Is there any Genevieve case in the court?
All right. Okay, so.
But it's okay. Like I said, I don't want to get involved in their matter. It's just the way he mentioned it at party. When you talk about party, when you're talking about changing the status quo, you should be talking about removing PDP, APC, ABGA. And no, you don't need to make anything better. You try the Social Democratic Party that has been there, that was there 1992. Excuse me, you know I don't normally get involved when you're talking. So now, what I'm bringing to bear is a lot. It's experience. We've garnered experience over years. My brother, I just gave him a couple of years. We're in the 50s. So it's not as if I started life very early. In 2003, when I ran for governor, I was 40 years. So I started life very early, and God bless me. But on what we're saying, for my state, Anambra State, we need to get it right. We need to get the good men who have touched lives. I've touched lives, I've built things, and I have great plan and great vision for Anambra. I was talking about the Osakwa Deep Sea. You didn't let me finish.
Because I'm actually timing you.
Yeah,
so we're on the point of why they should choose you.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. I've mentioned it earlier. Character, competence, credibility, capacity, capability.
Looks like Ozigbo's.
I said it before him, please.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No, I said that before. But, here I'm not in, he's my younger
The
brother.
manifesto are looking alike.
Yeah, he's my younger brother. He's my very
So you can share the manifesto?
No, that's why I said everybody shares manifesto. It's virtually the same thing. Like in my manifesto, you say free primary, basic tuition for everybody. You see security, you see roads, you see water, you see sports, tourism and culture. It's virtually the same. What is different, what is unique in mine is this because it's going to bring in a lot of jobs for our people. But for me as a person, my people have known me, they've tested me, they've seen me, they know that if I get in as the governor of Anambra State, a lot of good things, a lot of development, security, and infrastructures will come in. So for me, the reason why my people should, like I said, it is tough for anybody to have Knight of St. Gregory the Great. It's the greatest the Pope can give to anybody. For you to achieve, to get to that level, you must have done, it's usually vetted and verified.
Governor Biana has one.
Verified when? I'm almost 10 years. He's governor now and got it as governor. I'm 10 years as Papa Knight of St. Gregory the Great. So what I'm telling you, it's not easy to get there, my brother.
I know.
Thank God you know. So for you to get to that place, for Pope to confer that on you, my brother, you've gone a very long way.
And so that's one reason why you should choose you. Because the Pope has recognized you.
Capacity, capability. My people know that I am very straightforward. I carry people along. The youths are my friends. Women, elderly, young, because I cut across, the young, the elderly, the aged, all categories of life. If you read what people have said about me, they will tell you I'm a friend of the poor, of the less privileged, of the wealthy, of the young.
Mr. Uzo, we'll do you for a break. But when we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. There are a lot of grounds to cover. The election is just about 2 days away, and we just have Friday just in between now and the election. So what exactly should the people of Anambra State be thinking about? 18 candidates, but they need to choose one person. Who would that be? We're engaging a few of them tonight for them to be able to make up their minds. We take a break, and when we come back, the conversation continues on the Anambra governorship election and who will be the next governor. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We're live for you in Awka, the Anambra State capital, where we're monitoring the Anambra governorship election. It's the last day of campaign. According to law, no candidate will be able to sell themselves or sell their manifestos or talk to voters from midnight of today. So we're engaging some of the candidates on how and what they will do for the people of Anambra State should they be elected. Tonight we have the candidates of the PDP, Mr. Valentine Ozugbo, and also the candidate of the SDP, Mr. Obina Uzo. And virtually, I understand that we have now been joined by the candidate of the YPP, Mr. Ifeanyi Uba, who joins us from Inewi. Thank you so much, Mr. Ifeanyi Uba, for joining us tonight. We've been having the conversation about the opportunity to be able to sell yourself one more time to the people of Anambra State. Let me begin, and the question that I asked the two guests here with me on why should the Anambra people vote for you?
Well, Sean, thank you for this question. First and foremost, I want to thank you people, and I'm sure you are enjoying the hospitality of Anambra. There's no anybody trying to make trouble here will not find things easy. I want to thank the Inspector General of Police, thank the government for the provision of security, and then for also taking good care of lives and properties as we go into election next tomorrow. First and foremost, Sean, I am sure you are aware that I have been there. I am a serving senator of the Federal Republic, duly elected by the people of Anambra South. A 7 local government, represent 7 local governments out of 21 local governments. So 1/3 of Anambra states have duly represented me. And the reason why they elected me is because I am closer to them, they understand me, and they can see things I have done. I have virtually done visible, collateral, visible investments. You know, I have taken the use of Anambra State to the world. I have done most things. In fact, I have done things no one within the contestants have done in Anambra State, and that starts to be challenged. For me, it is all about grassroots. It is all about the people, and that is the reason why, by the grace of God, I will be the next governor of Anambra State, and I'm sure my people will get me elected as they did in the Senate.
So, in essence, there's another question that I asked. Why are you the better choice? Because there are 18 people on the ballot, and you are the candidate of the YPP. Why should they choose you?
First, also, like I said earlier, they are going to choose me because, one, I have the best manifesto as we go to this poll. I have the best manifesto, which is People's Manifesto. The manifesto that will change the narrative, change the life of our people. You know, I have done virtually everything, every bit of thing in my manifesto, practically. So I am not the candidate that will be saying theoretical things they want to do, things they want to do. If you come to any sector in my manifesto, you will see a bit of it I have done, you know, practically. So you don't just come in and start telling a number, because we have been deceived a lot. At least you know, those who comes every time to rule or to lead this state has not been able to, you know, meet up with their electoral promises. So that is why I want to lead now. I want to challenge, you know, the stagnation of Anambra. All the things that they have been telling us every time they want to do for us, at the end of the day, you find someone staying in the government house for 7 years without, you know, giving our youth job. This is no more time for joke. We are serious. And by the grace of God, what made people to elect me as their senator, by the grace of God, the remaining 2 quarters of Anambra State will also help and then get me in there by the grace of God.
So with me, Mr. Ifanyoba. Let me come back to the candidates here in the studio. Let me begin on the specifics now of some of the agenda that you have set. Let's touch on the issue of the economy. I want us to be specific now, because people need specifics. They need answers to the questions on their mind. What is your economic game plan? Talk to us about it.
You know, for me, the best thing we can do to the Anambra is to unleash that latent power, the entrepreneurial spirit, just creating enabling environment and making Anambra competitive. And how do you achieve this? You focus on the things that matter. You focus on power, on insecurity, to curb it, on roads. And then, these are the basics we must start off with. Because until you take care of these ones, you're not going to have, these are enablers. That's what I call them, enablers. And then when we've done this, and now start focusing on these clusters I've mentioned, on sectors that are more impactful. And then go back also to, how do we fund this? But that's a very critical part of it. There are only usually 3-4 sources of funding. What government is able to generate from FAC, which may actually now be going down, peaking at 50 billion thereabout. The IGR, about 28 billion, and I can bet by the time we close up the loopholes, we can double that number. Because if you look at Enugu and Delta, you see that they're doing far better than Anambra, and it shouldn't be the case. And then look at also the power of the multilaterals. The number of multilateral institutions that used to be very active here when former Governor Peter B was there, they've all disappeared. How do we bring them back? Getting them on board helps in building that competitiveness and showing signaling that is positive for local and foreign investors to come in. And then getting into a PPP model, public-private partnership. So we own Anambra and other private sectors within Nigeria can buy into the vision of Anambra. And when we have done this, back to what I said earlier, making Anambra a testimony ground for businesses to thrive. And so when we've done this, and business begins to, you see us adding jobs. Because a lot of times it's the private sector, is the big corporation and the SMEs that add on to the jobs. And the government can do one scheme that add, job. It's not going to be anything but comparable to the gaps out there that the private sector can fill. So it is really about unleashing the power of the private sector and making sure we have a corporate governance framework that gives the sincerity of purpose, openness, accountability, and get people to believe in what you're doing. Let them know what is going on around the economy.
Mr. Uzo, so what is your economic game plan?
Yeah, thank you. When you ask these questions, it's almost same. If you look at anything to grow, you have to have security. So security is key. And then the infrastructures, power. You have to engage the GENCOs, the DISCOs, the Transiscos, and ensure that we have sufficient power for our people. We also have gas. We have to unlock these gas deposits. We also have a lot of things that we could, like I said, I'm a testimony myself. In Anambra State, if you get to Onitsha, if you get to Newi, a lot is going on. We have to assist those young men and other guys willing to get involved. A lot of people don't know about the mentorship program going on in Anambra. It's Anambra that owns that mentorship. We have to leverage on it, build on it. And this is a situation, you get somebody who gets to serve a master. The first year is brought in to understand what is in the store. The second year, he begins to identify the customers. The third year, he's allowed to go bring in goods. And the fourth year, allowed to go sell to customers and deliver to. This is entrepreneurship system we have in Anambra. To develop it, you're going to make a lot of millionaires out of Anambra system. It's an informal system of education that assists a lot of young men to be wealthy men, to also assist others and to create employment. So for me, we have a lot to build industrial clusters, to establish, to assist those who have these factories to do well, like most of our people in Osin, who is manufacturing, you are encouraging by ensuring the majority of what is being used in Anambra. So we have to encourage those already manufacturing, those we are encouraging to come. We also have to try to grant them some tax incentives.
All right. Let me ask Mr. Ifanyu about the YPP. The same question. Your economic game plan.
Well, the most important thing is, first, we need to build trust with our people globally. Anambra is a very serious-minded individuals that lives all over the world, and they are being celebrated all over the world. You need to put up the agenda on the table and bring in our people from the diaspora so that we can discuss and chart the way forward. Put up the manifesto. One of the basics is to chart the way, the economic plan that you have for Anambra. And the economic plan is to look at what Anambrans have in the Nigerian economy, because we need to look at Nigeria as an entity where Anambra businesses will continue to boom. And if it's booming, then we will have the kind of economy that Rivers State is having. So bringing in people that, bringing in progressives and Anambrans in diaspora, we all have to come together and then look at the plans that we have. There's
I think we're having some technical glitches there. But let me come back to the studio here and let's talk about the issue of security. You mentioned it, you said it's critical. So the question is that how do you hope to tackle the security situation, specific means of or strategies? What specific strategies do you have to tackle the insecurity situation?
You know, I like us to always do something because until we start to do things in this manner, we will never make progress. It's so easy to just open my mouth and tell you this to people, and that's it. It should start from who is making these commitments to the approach we are adopting. And basically the soft things that we don't talk about before we get into what is it that we want to do in specifics in tackling the issue. Let's be certain you can only give what you have. You've got to be a serious-minded, a peaceful person, a people-loving person to be able to show genuineness in tackling things of this nature. If there are issues, criminality is happening, and people even see you as being culpable one way or another, you can't solve the problem. You're already disenfranchised from solving that problem. And so, I actually would like to advocate that we have the first approach, which is let's move away from blame game to taking responsibility. Let's hold people accountable for what they do wrong. Let's reward people for what they do right. Just doing this can change a lot of things. Just calling people out, saying, why haven't we been able to gather enough intelligence to figure out why this is happening? How can it happen today, happen tomorrow, happen, and then we become hopeless. Nobody has any hope of what's to happen. To answer you very quickly, because I know time is running out, there are a number of things we can do immediately. Let's look inwards. Let's focus on the communities. Let's strengthen the communities, the architecture around there, the vigilantes, the Igwes. Empower them. We've done this before and it worked for us. Provide them the sufficient vehicle, whatever else they need, and funding. When you do this, and then we'll move on to other things we can embed on it. Ultimately, I look forward to when Anambra can have a unique opportunity of policing itself, themselves. That state policing is something I like to see someday.
Mr. Uzo, you have a different view on how to secure Anambra State?
To secure Anambra State, you have to assist those who are already in the system, provide the necessary enablements for them, and training of these people, the security, the police, the army, and all that. And then you have to cooperate with stakeholders in Anambra, collaborate with stakeholders in Anambra. You cannot do without the traditional rulers. You cannot do without the president generals of town unions and also other community leaders. You try to help them, to assist them, to motivate them, to give them all the enablements to ensure that the necessary intelligence, the necessary assistance needed to assist and to work and collaborate with the security agencies is there.
All right.
Yes.
I would like you to also listen to some of those who are not present here tonight. There is Professor Chukwuma Soludo and Mr. Maduka of the Accord Party. Take a listen to them on why they want to be governor.
I'm offering myself to serve the people of Anambra. Exceptional people, very unique people, richly endowed by the God Almighty at this particular uncertain times. The world and Nigeria were going through some uncertainties. The oil trajectory for oil price is not anything cheery, so oil revenues are on their way out. And the world is migrating to the fourth industrial revolution. Both within Nigeria and the subnationals we need transformational leadership. And that is what I offer to my people of Anambra. I come from a very humble beginning, called Charlie Wambwafo, born in the native of Sofia in Agwata local government area, while I was at Dr. Oxford and Cambridge. And in the US, from Brookings to World Bank, IMF, UN system, and consulted for over 20 international financial and development institutions, and traveled to 45 other countries around all the continents of the world. It's from this that President Obasanjo brought me home to serve as the Chief Economic Advisor, later as Head of National Planning, and later again the third appointment as Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria. And I think I don't need to, rehash what.
I want to right the wrong that has been going on for many years. There has been so many things going wrong. I believe I will bring good governance to this state. We need to take care of our health issues. We need to take care of our infrastructure problem. We need to repair our road and bridges. We need to take care of women and youth employment deficits. We want to increase religious tolerance. We need to make sure that all our effort towards agriculture is maintained. So we bring mechanized agriculture.
Thank you so much, everyone. Well, this is where we draw the curtains. Tomorrow, we'll be hoping to see what happens in terms of security and expropriation and final finishing touches from everyone that is involved in this very election. So you've heard from some of the candidates in this election. Mr. Valentine Ozigbo is the candidate of the PDP. Mr. Obina Uzo is a candidate of the SDP. Ifeanyi Uba is a candidate of the YPP. The three of them have been our guests tonight on the program, selling themselves for the very last time before the election. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you.
And I must really wish you guys the very, very best. I know just how difficult it is.
Can I look into that camera and tell Anambra people one more time to vote for the best?
And you know the best.
Umbrella party.
Dr. Obi knows what the White House.
Well, Mr. Ifeanyi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's how we close the program. Stay with us for the latest, for the best stories in politics, and for this election right here on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye for now.